Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I'm Ogochkuka Ona. Let's begin with the headlines. Violent protests by anti-migration groups in South Africa claim lives. Federal government evacuates another batch of 269 Nigerians from South Africa. Plus, court grants 200 million naira bail to Omoyele Sowore in alleged cyberbullying matter. To let you know that my interpreter is Ada Uno. June 30 was the deadline given by South African xenophobic groups for all undocumented Africans to leave the country. Violent protests are currently ongoing in support of anti-migration groups. Musa Baba Ali has a situation report.
This is the situation across South Africa this Tuesday as anti-migrant groups stage protests against foreigners. The group had earlier ordered all undocumented foreigners to leave the country by June 30 at the latest. Many demonstrators are dressed in traditional Zulu attire, carrying sticks and shields. They accuse migrants of fueling crime and stealing jobs in township already plunged by poverty, high unemployment, and weak policing. There are widespread reports of local demanding identification papers, visiting foreign nationals' homes and workplaces and ordering them to leave.
They don't show us love, we don't have freedom. Even when you apply to have your resident permit, they will use the opportunity to arrest you and put you inside. At the end of the day, you suffer inside, they will deport you.
Analysts say the groups are well organized, well resourced, and highly active on social media. The nationwide protests have already turned deadly, with at least 4 people killed. Thousands of African migrants are fleeing or sheltering in makeshift camps. South African police say they are investigating the killing of at least 2 Mozambicans and 1 Malawian. This month alone, nearly 1,000 Ghanaians and 600 Nigerians have been flown home, while more than 15,000 others have crossed land borders into Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Mozambique.
We are in South Africa. We have tried. We stayed long there, like 12 years, So now we come back to Nigeria. They say we must go.
My kids are over there because they are there with their mother. Their mother is in South Africa. So I can't fighting for children. I have to save my life first.
Xenophobic violence is not new to South Africa. In 2008, 62 people were killed and 1,000 displaced. Further attacks occurred in 2015, 2016 and 2019 when armed mobs targeted foreign-owned shops, killing at least 12 people. However, this wave is different. It is the first time multiple African governments have coordinated large-scale voluntary repatriation in response to the attacks. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the third batch of Nigerian returnees, comprising 269 Nigerians, accompanied by 2 officials from the Nigerian mission in South Africa, have been successfully airlifted back to the country as part of ongoing evacuation of Nigerians trapped in South Africa in the wake of the xenophobic attacks. Joel Popola reports that the Director, African Affairs of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Haruna Ali Gombe, who received the returnees, assured them that the airlifting of subsequent batches will be fast-tracked.
After a 5-hour flight, Air Peace Airline conveying the Nigerian returnees finally landed at the cargo section of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. Their mood succinctly captured the tales of misery and psychological torture they endured in South Africa. But now that they are back in Nigeria, the anxiety and threats from Operation Dudula and other xenophobic groups are over.
I've spent about 14 years in South Africa. So right now that I found this opportunity to come back home, I think I'm happy, I'm relieved and safe also.
they always come to that side, where I do my business, and they're always threatening us, that we should amber. Amber means for us to leave the country.
Yeah, I'm very happy because a lot have been going there. I'm very, very happy to come back with my wife because a lot of people that will go through this process, some of them couldn't make it.
The federal government team, led by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, are working out modalities for their quick reintegration.
From the government side, the government has made provisions for all the 1,000 plus Nigerians indicated interest to return home. Arrangement has been concluded 100% and is now in the hands of the airlines and other managers of these operations.
The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, has promised Nigerians that every Nigerian that wants to return will be brought back, and we are working on it.
Many of them have lost their means of livelihood and now face uncertainty. The Imo State government is offering 1 million naira to its indigents, while other states are also providing palliatives. For many Nigerians who are still in South Africa enduring the xenophobic attacks, the fear of starting all over again in Nigeria is what has kept most of them in South Africa. Like the returnees have been emphasizing, once there is life, there is hope. The best decision is to return home. In Lagos, Joel Bukwola, NTA News.
And now, while marking DRC's 66th Independence Day, President Felix Tshisekedi vows to defend the country's territorial integrity against armed groups in the east and announcing a multi-million-dollar response plan to tackle a renewed Ebola outbreak. Francis Udojo has details.
En ce jour solennel du 30 juin 2026,
Democratic Republic of Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi said political independence had been a historic achievement, but the country's next challenge was turning it into fully realized, concrete and irreversible sovereignty. President Tshisekedi stressed a security sovereignty so that no armed group, no foreign force and no external agenda can dictate its will over any part of DRC's territory. The president went on to say the Washington agreements, Doha talks, and Montreux's commitments would only be meaningful if they produced concrete results, including the withdrawal of foreign forces, the disarmament of fighters, and the restoration of state authority. Tshisekedi also announced a $319 million, 280 million euros response plan after the resurgence of the Bundibujo strain of Ebola in Ituri province, saying emergency mechanisms had already been activated. The address came as the DRC continues diplomatic efforts to end the conflict in its east while battling a renewed Ebola outbreak centered in Ituri province. Meanwhile, severe flooding hit Accra after hours of heavy rain, leaving residents wading through submerged streets and trying to save what they can from homes and shops. Footage shows people moving through floodwater in a residential area of the Ghanaian capital. Shopkeepers said goods and appliances had been damaged. The Ghanaian Meteorological Agency warned that more rain was expected across parts of the country, including coastal areas. Earlier this month, officials had already warned that Accra faced a heightened flood risk in June. The disaster has renewed public anger over Accra's drainage problems and blocked waters. Francis Dojo, NTA News.
More than 1 million undocumented migrants in Spain have sought legal status under a scheme that has defied a European crackdown on irregular migration, the government said on Tuesday, the final day for submissions. Francis Udojo again tells us more on this.
The vast legal status scheme sorted for by undocumented migrants in Spain was predicted to benefit around 500,000 people, most from Latin America, when the left-wing government launched it in April. Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez told the media at an event in Madrid that more than 1 million applications submitted show how necessary this recognition of rights and responsibilities was to the people.
Creo que hacemos a nuestro país un país peor. Perdemos todos. Perdemos su contribución.
Sanchez has become a standard bearer of more open immigration policies as his European neighbors, including some socialist peers, toughen measures in response to pressure from ascendant far-right parties. He has long argued that immigrants are needed to sustain the economy, the welfare of state, and pensions as Spain's population ages and people leave rural regions. The number of applications submitted does not necessarily indicate how many migrants will secure their legal status. Applicants, Spain says, must prove they have a clean criminal record and spent at least 5 consecutive months in Spain before January 1. The authorities have 3 months to process their paperwork and decide whether to issue a work or resident permit, only valid in Spain. Francis Dojo, NT News.
As neurological disorders continue to rise in Nigeria, experts say greater investment in neuroscience research and specialist training is urgently needed. A roundtable hosted by the Embassy of Spain in Abuja brought together scientists and policymakers to explore opportunities for research, capacity building, and international collaboration. Uche Ugochukwu reports.
For many Nigerians living with neurological disorders, access to specialized care and the latest scientific breakthroughs remains limited.
Stroke, traumatic brain injuries, epilepsy, spinal disorders, neurodevelopmental conditions, and other diseases of the nervous system continues to grow at an alarming rate across our nation.
You have this young population, and you have the ones that are burdened with brain disorders. So our future depends on the choices we make.
This roundtable under the Embassy of Spain's Scientific Diplomacy Initiative is to examine how Nigeria can strengthen neuroscience research, expand capacity building, and deepen global scientific partnerships.
Advancing neuroscience must go together with the promoting brain health through the prevention or the community engagement.
So behavior is one of the main brain functions, and so we needed to start studying behavior better.
The discussions themed Neuroscience in Nigeria, opportunities for research, capacity building, and international collaboration, focused on bridging existing gaps in research, improving knowledge exchange, and creating opportunities for young Nigerian scientists to thrive.
You don't want to miss this boat. It's happening now, and it's a boat that you can get on because the data is there. So we don't need any equipment at all. All we need are the brains.
By investing heavily in local neuroscience research, Nigeria can position itself as an African hub for advanced AI development, cognitive robotics, and neuroengineering.
Leading experts say the conversation is a step towards ensuring that scientific collaboration translates into better healthcare outcomes for Nigerians. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Beyond removing tariffs, the African Continental Free Trade Area is reshaping how Africa trades, making commerce faster, simpler, and more connected to unlock shared prosperity. That vision takes center stage in Abuja as Nigeria's Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, assumes office as chairperson of the AFCFTA Council of Ministers responsible for trade. Maria Ado-Zakari reports.
Different nations, one shared ambition. The 18th meeting of the AFCFTA Council of Ministers responsible for trade is underway in Abuja, driving practical steps towards the African Union's Agenda 2063 vision of a more integrated and prosperous Africa. Excellent. Nigeria is pushing technology-led solutions to deepen intra-African trade, from digital payment systems and harmonized border procedures to empowering women and youth, rolling out the ABC Series communication platform, and expanding the Eastern and Southern Africa air cargo corridors.
FEC, the Federal Executive Council, approved 3 memos for the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. One was the ratification and domestication of our digital trade protocol. We're the first country to do that. And then we also got the approval for our new intellectual property policy, the first for Nigeria, NIPS, and then our National Talent Export Program, NATEP. These three approvals that we got are the backbone, the framework upon which we're building our digital and creative and innovation economy. FMITI is at the forefront of making sure that there's standards, making sure that there's capital available, making sure that the logistics. We also work very closely with the National Single Window Intervention.
The implementation of the AFCFTA continues to be constrained by inadequate and unpredictable financial resources. The ministers may therefore wish to recommend to the African Union, the policy organs of the African Union, to prioritize adequate, predictable, and sustainable financing for the Secretariat.
Our priority for the next phase should be to accelerate the effective implementation of the agreement by increasing the number of state parties implementing tariff concessions and publishing their tariff schedules.
As global trade patterns continue to evolve, African trade ministers say the AFCFTA offers the continent a strategic pathway to strengthen its position in global commerce while advancing towards its projected $250 billion trade target. Maria Adu-Zakari, NTA News.
All right, we take a break at this point. More reports shortly. Thank you for staying tuned. Now, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has urged the leadership of the Chartered Institute of Professional Printers of Nigeria to focus attention on policies that will strengthen unity among members for the greater benefits of Nigeria. This was when the government image promoter met with the group's governing council and industry players during a stakeholder summit in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
A warm reception followed by this keen attention to issues that have retarded the development of the Chartered Institute of Professional Printers of Nigeria.
CIPON was created by an Act number 24 of 2007, which is about 19 years now. And within this period, this institute has been in court by its members over leadership issues. But with this stakeholders' engagement, there is hope in sight.
A short history, and the bulk of it is written in the courtroom. I think this is not right.
To make things right in the interest of about 4 million employees under this sector and stimulate the nation's economy, the government spokesman provided a working guide to the leadership.
The court has said Mr. Clement Koko is now chairman and everybody should rally behind him. I think that is the right thing to do, to rally behind him. You don't have to like his leadership to rally behind him, but you have a long task ahead of you. What you make of this period between this time and the time that your term is over, history will judge you. If you say, because I have won, you leave out people who appear not to have won this time around, then there is a big problem and the crisis of CIPON will continue. To a very large extent, the enduring legacy you are going to leave behind is very much what is needed to see whether CIPON will actually advance or retard.
CIPON is not against anybody. We hold no grievance against any person, association, or office. Everything we do for the growth of this institute.
From resolution to renaissance, CIPON, like others, was promised government support.
The migration to digital platforms is a big challenge to this industry. But that does not mean that this industry will go out of extinction. It is how you embrace technology, how you are able to evolve, to make yourself relevant within this challenge that sets you apart.
Stakeholders left the hall more united, the tempo they promised to sustain. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News. The Federal High Court Abuja Division has granted bail to Moyele Sowore in the sum of 200 million naira in the alleged cyber bullying matter.
The presiding judge, Justice Mohammed Umar, gave the order in a ruling on the bail application on the defendant following the issuance of bench warrant on him due to his absence in court. One of the bail conditions is for Moyele Showore to present 2 sureties. One of them must be a traditional ruler in Showore's community in Eseodo local government area in Ondo State. The second surety, the court ruled, must have landed property within the Federal Capital Territory. In addition, Showore is to surrender his international passport to the court's deputy registrar for safekeeping. The court equally held that both sureties must be verified by counsel to the prosecution, Akinlolu Kehinde, SAN. Following Showore's absence in court, the judge on June 16, 2026 revoked the bail he granted Showore on self-recognizance last December and thereafter issued a bench warrant for the politician's arrest after he failed to appear in court for his trial on allegations bordering on cybercrime and criminal defamation. Upon appearance in the next adjourned date, Justice Umar ordered that Showore be kept in the Kuje Correctional Center until its motion for a stay of the execution of the order for the revocation of his bail and bench warrant is determined. Justice Umar dismissed Showore's order application that the judge be withdrawn from further presiding over his trial on the ground of alleged bias. The Department of State Services, DSS, is prosecuting Showore over alleged criminal defamation arising from claims that he referred to President Bola Tinubu as a criminal in posts he made on his official X and Facebook accounts. Defense counsel Adakole, however, appealed to the judge that Showore be released to him to enable him get his passport from the U.S. Embassy in Lagos. Justice Umar Mohammed adjourned to July 6, 2026 for continuing of hearing. And now the City Boy movement has empowered more than 1,000 women in Kano State with vocational tools and business support as part of efforts to promote economic empowerment, poverty reduction and grassroots development. The Director General of the City Boy movement, Francis Oluwatosin Shoga, described the initiative as a demonstration of the movement's commitment to improving livelihoods and complementing government efforts at empowering citizens. He said investing in people through skills acquisition and entrepreneurship remains one of the most effective strategies for tackling unemployment, reducing poverty, and stimulating sustainable economic growth. Beneficiaries received a variety of empowerment items, including sewing machines, grinding machines, hairdressing kits, and food items to enable them establish or expand small-scale businesses.
The City Boy movement is about informing the youth. It's about informing the youth about the achievements of government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The City Boy movement is about engaging with the youth. That is why we have our national leader, Barrister Sheyi Tinubu. He is keen about empowerment of young people and young Nigerians. That is why today the women wing of the City Boy movement will be empowering 1,000 women with various equipment to support their households and businesses.
Several beneficiaries described the program as timely and impactful, expressing appreciation to the organizers and pledging to utilize their support to improve their businesses and contribute to the economic development of their communities. The federal government, through the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, has distributed 120 life jackets to boat operators and other water users in Otuocha, Anambra East local government area of Anambra State. Franklin Onyekachi reports that the distribution was carried out by the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, during a water safety and flood sensitization campaign in the community. All right, that story is not ready. Now, moving on, democracy flourishes when the voices of the people are reflected in governance around the world. Parliaments serve as a bridge between citizens and governments, shaping laws, promoting accountability, and safeguarding national development. As the world marks the International Day of Parliamentarism, attention is once again focused on the vital role legislative institutions play in strengthening democratic values and ensuring inclusive governance. Francis Udojo takes it from here.
International Day of Parliamentarism, observed annually every June 30, was established by the United Nations to recognize the importance of Parliament in building peaceful, transparent, and democratic societies. The day also commemorates the founding of the Interparliamentary Union, IPU, one of the world's oldest organizations, promoting cooperations among national legislatures. They are responsible for making laws, approving government budgets, and overseeing the activities of the executive arm of government through debates, committee work, and public consultations, representing the interests and concerns of the people while ensuring government policies serves public good. This year's observance highlights the need for stronger institutions that embrace innovation, accountability, gender inclusion, and youth participation.
All right, weather is next.
And ensuring leaders remain.
And those are the stories from our news desk at this time. I am Ogochkuka Ona, and my sign language interpreter has been Ada Uno.